welcome you to Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston, Texas, where this afternoon the Astros wrap up a 7-game homestand. They've only won 2 of the first 6 games. Taking on the Toronto Blue Jays in the rubber game of this 3-game weekend series. The Astros coming in 30 games over 500, continuing to pace the way in the American League. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum, the Astros and the Toronto Blue Jays on this Sunday afternoon. And Blummer, while it hasn't been the best homestand or the best stretch lately, having lost 7 out of 10, a chance to get a series win.
They got to go out there and try and salvage that series. We talk about just winning the series tonight's the night.
Speaking of series, the season series between these two has been split 3-3, but it's been vastly different in the wins and losses.
It's been ridiculous how big a difference it is. They are scoring twice as many runs than the Toronto Blue Jays in this series, but you see in the wins, they're almost at 16 runs a game, everybody getting in on the action. The power numbers are great. They have 19 home runs compared to 9 home runs for the Toronto Blue Jays, but good pitching has found its way to shut down the Houston Astros offense in these losses against the Toronto Blue Jays.
Today will be the final game of this season series, and they'll have to try and get a win to take the season series against Toronto's toughest customer, Marcus Stroman.
Yeah, he's pretty mercurial. We know last time out when he did face the Houston Astros, he's a highly animated type guy, high energy guy, but he's also got electric stuff. He's pitching in the mid-90s with that fastball, loves that slider. He also has a changeup. Got a little help from his defense out there in Toronto, considering how well the Astro bats were going. But I'm sure if you ask these Astros, they felt like they missed some mistakes that you're seeing right here from Josh Reddick and Alex Bregman. I apologize, but if you get the mistake, count on the Astros trying to take advantage of him here today.
He is animated, plays with a lot of emotion, pitches with a lot of emotion. We'll see that fire today at Minute Maid Park as he goes against Mike Fiers. When we come back, Julie Morales will be along, and she'll talk about some of the young guys that are making contributions who started this year with the AAA Fresno Grizzlies, or in one case with AA Corpus Christi.
on the field right now. He's one of the closest as far as the injured guys, the guys on the DL to return. But the Astros have had several guys step up with some of these injuries they've had, giving plenty of opportunities to some of the guys that started their year in AAA or even AA. Let's take a look at some of the Fresno Grizzlies who are making an impact for this Major League ball club already. The Astros had plenty to choose from. Look at the numbers from J.D. Davis, Derek Fisher, Tyler White in the minors. This is what they had to choose from. A lot of power between these guys, having great seasons. We saw Derek Fisher, who made an immediate impact when he came up. J.D. Davis getting that first hit yesterday. Tyler White had 3 home runs in his last 2 games. Davis White will be out today against Stroman. Derek Fisher will be in the lineup. And another guy that we're going to see today will be Juan Centeno, who we saw earlier this season. For just a short stint, though, he had a couple of starts there. He's our Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight. Taking a look at the 2 starts that he made for the Astros while he was up. How about homering in both of them, becoming the first in club history to homer in his first 2 games as an Astro? That's pretty impressive right there. And he's put up big numbers as well. He was splitting playing time in AAA with Max Stassi. So the Astros counting on him to catch Mike Fiers. This is a guy that's familiar with a lot of guys on the staff, did a lot of work in spring training, and he will hope to help out the Astros today as they look for a win over the Blue Jays in order to get a series win, ending this homestand on a happy note. It's Jeff Bagwell Hall of Fame weekend. We're wrapping that up too. Astros will be behind Mike Fiers as they go for the W here. Todd Callis, Jeff Blunt. We'll have more next.
Astros baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Astros and the Toronto Blue Jays wrapping up this weekend series and the season series. Sunday afternoon baseball. The Astros wearing their home dark blue tops along with their white pants, and Mike Fiers with the stylish stirrups as well as he gets the start against the Blue Jays. And John Gibbons will line it up this way. Jose Bautista back at the top of the lineup, followed by Russell Martin. Josh Donaldson is the third baseman. Justin Smoke having quite a season, hits in the 4th spot. Kendrys Morales is the DH. Ryan Goins at shortstop. Kevin Pillar in center field. The familiar name, Norichika Aoki, is the left fielder batting 8th, and Darwin Barney is the second baseman.
Mike Fiers on the mound for your Houston Astros. Looking to finish off this homestand with a series win. In 21 starts, you see the record at 7-6. Sold 118 innings and has 116 punch-outs. Fastball, curveball. Last outing, we saw him break out that cutter, slider. But when he's going well, it's a fastball, curveball, split-fingered mix. Last time out was not a good start in the sense of earned runs. He did go 6 1/3, but he gave up 6 earned runs against the Tampa Bay Rays.
We'll take a look at the defense behind Fiers. For the 6th time in 7 games in the homestand, Jake Marisnick gets a start in center field. That means Derek Fisher will be in left and Josh Reddick will be in right. Marwin Gonzalez back in the lineup after a day off. He'll play at shortstop right next to Alex Bregman, who moves over to third. Jose Altuve at second base. And Yuli Gurriel is the first baseman. The new face in the lineup today is Juan Centeno, just called up yesterday, with Evan Gattis going on the concussion list. There is Centeno. You heard Julia talk about him. Good defensive catcher. And happy to be back for his 3rd start with the Houston Astros. Astros winning game 1, 16-7 in this series. The Blue Jays squeaking by last night 4-3. You saw, as Blummer chronicled not too long ago, the big discrepancy in the wins and losses. 56-28. The Astros have doubled up the Blue Jays this year in runs scored in their 6 games, yet they are 3-3. We are underway, and the first pitch is swung on and sent into center field, which moves Marisnick back. Josh Reddick back there as well, but it's Jake who makes the play. 1 pitch, 1 out. Been a fun weekend here at Minute Maid Park. Big crowds the first 2 games. We had a sellout, biggest crowd of the year last night, 41,950, as Russell Martin digs in. Fire starts off Martin with a strike. It's 0-1. Fiers pitched pretty well against Toronto the first time he faced them on July 8th. He did walk a few. He walked 4 batters in that start at the Rogers Center right before the All-Star break, but he struck out 6 through 105 pitches in that start. Pitch misses inside to Martin. It's 1-2. Be interesting to see if Fiers has that curveball early. Such a big pitch for him. Missed with the first one, throws a good one there to Russell Martin and gets the strikeout.
A reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Yeah, that curveball for me is a big key for Mike Fiers. Not only is he throwing it for strikes, but is he getting the swing and miss with it, which is huge, because he does have the get me over to get himself back into counts, but still to have the confidence to throw it in a 2-strike count when he needs it most.
Doubled up on Russell Martin, threw a much better one after he missed with the one before. The reason it's important to me also is because it seems like Fiers is more effective when he simplifies things and gets to be a 3-pitch pitcher.
That's when we've seen him be very successful. He got roughed up that last outing and might have been searching for a pitch to get him back on the plate. It might have been that cutter, because sometimes when pitchers, we've seen Colin McHugh do it a lot in his career, when he's missing arm side and pitchers are missing off the plate or into right-handed hitters, sometimes that cutter is just a natural position to put the hand in to get the pitch back on the plate. Unfortunately, that cutter has not been successful for Mike Fiers.
Swing and a miss from Donaldson on that 2-1 pitch. It's, or 2-0 pitch. It's now 2-1. Donaldson on base a couple times in last night's game. 1 for 4 with a walk. Overall in the series, though, he is 1 for 8 against the Astros in this weekend set. That walk pushed him up to 23 walks since the beginning of July. That's the most in the major leagues. Ahead of the count here, 3-1. And he draws yet another walk. So Donaldson, a 2-out base runner. Byers has walked 3 in each of his last 2 starts. Really had good command his previous 2 starts coming out of the All-Star break. Walked a total of 1 in 2 outings. Justin Smoke, the batter. Speaking of the All-Star break, this guy was a Blue Jay All-Star. Leads the team in home runs, leads the team in RBIs, and runs scored as well. On the ground, into the shift, Altuve, shallow right field, and that'll do it. A walk and 1 man left on base. Astros turn to bat in the bottom half of the first. Lineup is presented by Southwest Airlines. Derek Fisher right back at the top of the lineup, where he has been getting on base a lot for A.J. Hinch, followed by Jose Altuve. He's actually had 3 hitless games so far in the month of August. Josh Reddick will hit 3rd. He's having himself a nice series and homestand. Yuli Gurriel in the cleanup spot. Marwin Gonzalez back in the lineup. Carlos Beltran is the DH and hits 6th. Alex Bregman, Juan Centeno, and Jake Marisnick.
The ever-entertaining Marcus Stroman on the mound for the Houston Astros. Number 6 is making his 23rd start on the season. You see the record at 10-5 in 138 and a third innings. He has struck out 114 against the Astros in his career. A 2-1 record, a 3.09 ERA. 4 games against these Astros. In his last 2 starts, he's given up 7 runs.
Always entertaining because there's always something going on the mound with Marcus Stroman. Even when he gives himself the quiet on his way to make the first pitch, and he delivers outside to Derek Fisher for ball 1. Most people have gotten used to the fact that Stroman is very much into pumping himself up on the mound. And himself, Fisher with a little chopper towards second, and Fisher flying down the line. That was a nice play made by Darwin Barney because Fisher was moving out of the box. AJ,
really good play.
AJ Hinch wants to make sure as he takes a look at this.
Not hit hard, but you can see as soon as he sees the ball get past Stroman, puts his head down and starts to fly down that line. Toughest part about this for Darwin Barney and any second baseman charging in is throwing back across your body to get that out. You see on our mattress from Super Mo that the ball got there in time.
He gets down the line in a hurry. So does this guy, Jose Altuve. Altuve in July had 2 days where he didn't have a hit. July 1st, beginning of the month, and July 29th.
He's got new kicks on, that's why.
In August, he's played in 4 games, and 3 of those 4 he doesn't have a hit.
Them's flashy.
Those are nice.
Those are going to look good going around the bases today.
Jose White shoes. Altuve grounds 1 foul. Stroman ahead of the count, 0-2.
Do you think Altuve has any idea who Billy Johnson is?
My guess is no.
I'm with you. But I just figured I'd throw it out there. Do you know who Billy Johnson is?
Billy White Shoes?
There you go.
Billy White Shoes Johnson was one of the first celebrators of a touchdown. Now it's kind of commonplace, but go back to Elmo Wright, University of Houston. He was one of the very original. Yeah, TV looks good there. Hopefully it'll pay off with some knocks today. There you go. Outside for a ball. Marcus Stroman making his 23rd start of the year. Generally pitches deep into games. He is on a nice run of those in his last 3 road starts. He misses inside to Altuve. It's 2-2.
Pretty good take. 94 down and in. You'll see it on our MD Anderson strike zone. It is just off that down and in edge. Good pitch. Better take.
Altuve starts the day with the most hits in all of baseball and the best batting average. Tried to hold up on the slider and he goes around. Stroman loves that slider, especially when he is ahead. Altuve thought he held up in time.
Throws it hard. Tough to hold up the barrel when you commit. Rob Drake's credit, he sent it down to first base and let the first base umpire make the call.
At Hoberg over at first base today. I'll bring up Josh Reddick. 2 outs and nobody on. Reddick takes a fastball for a strike. Reddick 4 for 7 in this series so far. Sends one the other way, dropping quickly. That's a fair ball and bounces into the crowd for a ground rule double. Josh Reddick with the Astros' first hit.
That's a peach, hon. Little drop shot down the left field line to get the Astros on the hit board. Put himself in scoring position too. Very well located. I'm not sure he would have been able to catch this and throw it out there much better than he hit it out there. Kind of got blown up a little bit, but sometimes you stay through that baseball, you get rewarded. We know about Josh's high line drive percentage right here, taking advantage of the soft contact.
Reddick now 4 for 6 against Stroman. That one wasn't hit hard, but in the right spot. Josh now with a hit in his last 11 starts. Yuli Gurriel an opportunity for a 2-out RBI. Yuli's had a nice homestand as well, hitting .375. 1-1 the count. Gurriel misses that. It's 1-2. When Stroman's on, he'll get a lot of ground balls. Last year, a high ground ball percentage, 61.4. This year, even higher at 63.3. And he gets Gurriel looking at a called third strike. Breaking ball that broke over. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Stroman, and the Astros leave 1.
Score between the Blue Jays and Astros. And we've got a pitching performance that's going to be powered by Kubota. Mike Fiers, he was a trade deadline acquisition back in 2015. Since then, he's made 61 starts. You see the record at 20 and 15. We're seeing highlights of that no-hitter he threw at Minute Maid Park, which was pretty good. First here in Minute Maid Park history. He also has 302 punch-outs and 340 innings pitched. And that's the one that jumped out at me because that leads the Astros since he's been here.
Starts off Morales with a strike. He has been the most durable pitcher in this rotation since his acquisition from Milwaukee.
Well, you mentioned off air before the game that he's going to be the only guy that possibly gets over 150 innings.
He's the only one really on pace. And Lance McCullers Jr. is on that pace, but on the DL right now, so that pace will slow down in the next few days. So Fiers probably will be the only guy at 150 to qualify amongst pitchers for any title, ERA, etc. You have to have at least 162 innings. He should get there as well. Altuve makes the play. Julie, what do you have for us?
Mike Fiers in that last start giving up 2 home runs and was disappointed in his outing, hoping to turn it back around today. But I asked AJ what he thought of that last start and his pitch usage, because we did see him throw a couple of cutters, and that's something that Fiers said he'd gotten away from. But in that last start didn't have his curveball command, so he had to go somewhere, and therefore he went back to that cutter and he got burned by it a couple times. So today probably throwing more changeups, and if he has his curveball, he's definitely going to be effective with that fastball as well, guys.
Yeah, the curveball has become such a big weapon, and you're right. He needed that, he felt, because the curveball wasn't as sharp last start, which is why we kind of mentioned in the first inning, when you get that curveball rolling early, kind of makes him a more efficient pitcher when he can eliminate that cutter or slider. He can pitch with 3 pitches, and we've seen him be his most effective when he does pitch with just fastball, split change, and curveball. He basically stopped throwing the cutter to righties, but it still has shown up occasionally to left-hand hitters and has cost him this year with some home runs. There's a called third strike. Ryan Goins a quick AB as he goes down on 3 pitches. Second strikeout for Fiers.
We're talking about that cutter. As we look back at this punch out of Goins, just a perfectly located fastball, getting a little bit of the edge, and the call from Rob Drake behind home plate. But when the fastball command is going well, the curveball is going well, and the changeup is going well, or the split finger, he doesn't have to worry about those secondary pitches. But that cutter, for me, he's given up 7 home runs on that cutter. It's a large amount.
High slugging percentage.
Yeah, and he doesn't throw it all that often.
Almost an 800 slugging percentage on the cutter. Breaking ball for a called strike to Pilar. Pilar backs off on a breaking ball that stays in. Pilar scored the big run in last night's game to tie the game at 3. Reaching on an infield single, going first to third on a ball. It looked like he might be throwing out at third, and then scoring on a ground out. Altuve firing that throw to first base as he gets Kevin Pilar for the final out of the inning. 9-pitch inning. Second inning, Astros and the Blue Jays wrapping up this weekend set and also wrapping up a 7-game homestand. Houston will head out on the road after this game. The Astros will be heading to Chicago to take on the White Sox. Day off tomorrow in the Windy City. Then games Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then back in the Lone Star State the weekend against the Rangers. And off to interleague play once again as they will have a home and home going first to Arizona before the Diamondbacks come here. So it will be an 8-game, 9-day road trip beginning tonight. Marwin Gonzalez will lead things off. Marwin with a day off yesterday. Coming in batting .311 with 20 home runs, 65 runs batted in. Marwin was the one guy when we showed all the Stroman highlights from the last start who kind of looked at him after a strikeout as if to say, some interesting reactions from your pitcher after a strikeout, because Stroman was going crazy and Marwin just kind of looked at him. Breaking ball for a called strike. It's 1-1. There are some hitters that will take exception, but for the most part, it's how Stroman gets himself going. He kind of likes that confrontation.
It was one way to get him to stop doing it. Perform.
Stroman was helped on his last start against Houston with a couple of double plays. And
a guy I remember playing when I was with the Houston Astros, every time the Cubs came into town or we went there, was Carlos Zambrano. Highly animated, a lot of energy.
Goins backhands, retires Gonzalez for out number 1. It's an interesting inning for Jose Altuve and Yuli Gurriel.
A couple of guys hanging out on the right side, and you can see this is the play earlier. Where's Yuli going? That actually wasn't the one that ended the inning. This is the one. There was a play previous in that inning against Kendrys Morales. But the reason that play popped up to me is because Jose Altuve fired that ball about as hard as we've ever seen him throw a ball across the diamond. But previous to that, in the Kendrys Morales ground ball where he was playing deep in the shift, he didn't throw a perfect throw to Yuli Gurriel.
Right.
And Gurriel let him know. And then Altuve shot back. Very animated conversation. So 2 ground balls later, Altuve had another opportunity, threw an absolute seed over to Gurriel to send a message. I just thought that was kind of entertaining. Those are things that happen throughout the course of the game where you can send a message while playing the game.
Yeah, Altuve made a couple of plays in the shift. The one you saw was on Smoke, and then there was the one to start the next inning.
Yeah.
When Gurriel was giving a hard time about it.
Yeah.
And then he threw that ball to end the inning in the second as hard as I've ever seen him throw a ball.
Yeah, and there was a reason. It was because of the conversation on the first ground ball in that inning.
Beltran grounds out to Stroman for out number 2. Well, we mentioned when Stroman's going well, he's getting ground balls and strikeouts, and that's all he has so far tonight. 3 ground balls and 2 strikeouts as he faces Alex Bregman. Bregman hitting over 400 for the homestand, and also has an extra base hit in 7 consecutive games. Pops this one up. Stroman wants it himself. The pitcher off the mound will make the play. 8-pitch inning for Stroman after Mike Fiers had a 9-pitch top half of the second. game of baseball and plays it with such a passion. And in that last inning, we'll show you again. This is him in the first out of the inning against Kendrys Morales. Throws the ball at Gurriel. Gives him a hard time about where the throw is.
Well, he kind of lobbed it over there, and he's like, hey, I got the out. Leave me alone. What do you need? And then this is the last ground ball. Threw it about 150 miles an hour to send a message. He's like, is that good enough?
He wound up and fired that. So he lobs the one in. Gurriel's giving him a hard time about the lob. And then he's like, I got your lob right here.
Yeah.
And he almost took his head off.
Exactly. That's so great.
Altuve and Gurriel having fun on a Sunday afternoon as Nori Aoki will bat for the first time today. Nori got a great ovation from this crowd on Friday night in his first at bat back as a Toronto Blue Jay. Nori getting his first start with Toronto since the trade deadline deal sent Francisco Liriano to the Astros, and Nori to Toronto along with Teoscar Hernandez. Nori ahead of the count 2-0. On the ground, just foul. Scoreless as we head into the third. Both pitchers have been solid through two, especially with their pitch counts. Only 20 pitches needed for Fiers through two, and 22 needed for Marcus Stroman. The young fan had not only a baseball, but an autographed baseball cap. It's a good day so far. 2-2 the count. He said through his translator Kosuke he's happy to be back here and seeing so many familiar faces. There's a called third strike. Fiers with that curveball. Nori thought it broke around the plate, but the home plate umpire Rod Drake calls it a strike for out number one.
Maybe catching the top outside corner of that zone. Yep. Nicely done, Rob Drake with the call on Nori. It's amazing how different a pitch can look from different angles.
It's amazing how different a catcher receives the ball too. Centeno is one of those guys that really gets low. A lot of times he'll go down to just that one knee crouch as he gets in there. And his targets are always right around the hitter's knees. This time he's more standard. And a breaking ball for another strike. All of a sudden Fiers has found the curveball.
Well, you know what's interesting too is Centeno being small, and we talk about catchers getting small. What that does is gives the umpire a clear path to see the baseball all the way through home plate.
On the ground to short. Marwin sidearm throw, and it gets past Yuli Gurriel. Backed up by Centeno, but that'll be an error on Marwin.
For me, Marwin's got one of the better arms on this ball club. We've seen it from third base. We've seen it from short. But here it gets a little bit quick with the footwork and just kind of slings it over to first base instead of getting the feet planted and throwing a nice overhand bullet to first base. Yuli gives it his best effort, but very tough on that in-between hop. Catches it quickly, and then just a quick little shuffle of the feet. The momentum really didn't get going towards first base. I've seen him, and you have too, Todd, where he can make a nice strong throw from down here, but it's when he gets that lower half into it and really gets through that throw.
No Marwin charged with the error. Fiers has been throwing some good breaking balls in this inning. Doesn't get rewarded for the ground ball there, and it's going to cost the Astros a run as that breaking ball is sent deep and out to left field over the Crawford boxes. Jose Bautista hitting a two-run home run, and just like that, Toronto taking a 2-0 lead.
Bautista hasn't been taking as many pitches as he normally does. One of the league leaders in pitches per plate appearance, but he's definitely maximized the one pitch he saw in this AB, or second pitch in this AB. Pitch
to Russell Martin's a called strike. The The home run has started to pop up a little bit more lately on Fire's game-by-game line. Russell Martin fouls one away. After allowing 18 home runs in the first 9 starts, Fiers then went 7 straight starts without allowing a home run. And that's now 7 allowed in his last 6 starts. Good breaking ball. Easy gets Martin. 4th strikeout of the game for Mike in the 2nd of this inning. See him after that last breaking ball, which picked up the strikeout, kind of reminding himself that release of the breaking ball, the one to Batista, hung up a little bit on the inside part of the plate, and Jose took care of it. So here's Josh Donaldson. Donaldson is hit by a pitch. Donaldson hit on the first pitch of the AB, and he will head down to first.
Set up inside. Right after him. Got him right in that rib cage.
Donaldson back on base again. Between him and Chipper Jones, the 2 highest on base percentage for visiting players in this ballpark over their careers. Here's Justin Smoke. Smoke grounded out his first time up. And he takes a called strike. Last time Smoke batted with 2 outs and a runner on first base. Altuve was deep in the shift. This time he's on the infield. Same scenario. 2 outs, runner on first base. It's 0-2. A little more standard defense, although they do shift to the right side. Into left field. Fisher is there, and that'll do it. 2-run score. 1 earned, 1 unearned, and Toronto leading 2-0.
Jays are ahead 2-0 over the Houston Astros, and we've got today's fan cam. It is presented by GulloAuto.com. Can't go wrong with the rainbow onesie when you're at the ballpark. seem to be pretty fashionable around the ballpark today.
Rainbow jersey very popular amongst the young crowd.
These kids have no idea how cool they are until about 10 years from now when they look back at those pictures and go, man, I had a rainbow onesie.
Bottom half of the third inning, Juan Centeno, Jake Marisnick in the top of the order. Centeno coming up from AAA Fresno, didn't play in last night's game, although he was active. Evan Gattis going on the 7-day concussion list. Gattis becoming the 4th Astro to go on the 7-day concussion list. Saw Brian McCann earlier this year, Jake Marisnick, Josh Reddick, and now Evan Gattis. Saw Centeno's numbers in his 2 starts with the Astros. They came against the Tigers on May 23rd and 25th. 2 home runs in those 2 games. That represents 1 more home run than he hit the entire time down at Fresno. He was batting .323 for the Grizzlies at the time of his recall, and he's ahead 3-0.
Also important to note that of all the catchers that the Astros have had this season, he has yet to give up a catcher's interference.
There you go. Who's got that going for him?
It's early.
It's 3-1. We have seen back and forth catcher's interferences all season long. Stroman rushed that delivery, and it's 3-2. Ball 4. Leadoff walk to Juan Centeno. And the Astros have their second base runner of the game.
Well, Marcus Stroman went into the skit pitching arsenal of Johnny Cueto and tried to quick pitch out of that set position, and it led to a walk.
He will vary his delivery times. He will vary his motions. When he works out of the windup, sometimes he'll get time called on him when he feels like he's in the middle of a windup.
Well, he definitely, to me, looks like a guy who, if he gets in a rhythm, he's going to grab that baseball and go.
Marisnick into right field. Batista makes the play on the line for out number 1. Back to the top of the order, and Derek Fisher. Fisher not up when Stroman faced the Astros earlier this year, so seeing him for the first time. Derek has reached in 15 of his first 16 games this year in his rookie season. There have only been 2 other Astros that have reached in 15 of their first 16 games in franchise history. One of them on the current team right now in the DL, Carlos Correa, did it as a 20-year-old in 2015. And the other, Rusty Staub, back in 1963. Fisher, one of just 3 in franchise history to reach in 15 of his first 16 games. Runner on first, 1 out. Up the middle, Goins flips to Barney, and the return throw not in time. Fisher flying down the line beats the return throw. But they get the force on Centeno. Fisher lives on the fielder's choice.
The Coca-Cola Value Nights package is one of the best ballpark bargains. This offer is available for select weekday games and scores a ticket, hot dog, soda, and popcorn for just $18. Visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS for more info.
Here's Jose Altuve. Altuve, during this homestand, had an 0 for 11 streak. Followed up with 3 hits, and now he's on an 0 for 5 streak until that base hit. Altuve, clean single in the left field, and the Astros have a couple of runners on with 2 outs.
Good time for 2-out lightning. We've seen Stroman trying to get in on some of these right-handed hitters, and Altuve maybe going to school a little bit, anticipating inside, pulls the hands in, rakes a base hit to left.
Here's Josh Reddick. just years apart between Staub and Correa. Staub was 19, Correa 20. Fisher, of the three who's done it, the elder statesman. Some good young bats that he's following in the footsteps of. Reddick down to the count 0-1. Line drive right field, Batista over, makes the play. Reddick hit it well, but the Astros leave 2 on in the inning. We head to the fourth. It is 2-0 Toronto.
Today's Texas Auto Diamond King is, of course, Jeff Bagwell. Just saw a picture of Lou Gehrig, and there's that sweet swing of Lou Gehrig. But as far as all-time WAR leaders at first base, and this to qualify this, you have had to have played at least 90% of your career at first base, and obviously these two qualify. But as far as WAR is concerned, Lou Gehrig, 112.3 in the WAR department, followed by Jeff Bagwell. It's pretty astonishing numbers.
That is a lot of wins above replacement as we start the fourth inning with Kendrys Morales taking a called strike. Morales grounded out in his lone AB. But Bagwell and Gehrig separating themselves from the rest of the first baseman. Bagwell almost 80 wins above replacement throughout his career. Fastball in the corner. It's 1-2. Fire is allowing a 2-run home run to Jose Batista. That is the only hit allowed in this game. It was preceded by an error, so that's how the Blue Jays put up 2. If you are wondering who else was close to Bagwell and Gehrig on that list, the answer is really nobody. The third closest amongst people with, like you said, 90% of their games at first base. Mark McGwire had a 62 career WAR, and then Todd Helton was right behind him with 61. Bagwell almost at 80, and then Gehrig over 112. Fun to have Jeff in the booth last night. We had a good time. That inning flew, of course, which we could have had him for 2 or 3 innings. Walk to Kendrys Morales.
Baggy was great. Some more greatness on the right-hand side. One of 2 players in Major League history. 2,000 hits, 400-plus home runs, 1,500-plus runs, 1,500-plus RBIs, 200-plus steals, and a 400 career OBP.
Fouled back off the bat of Ryan Goins. That on-base percentage for a career of over 400.
Yeah, that's silly. But like fans voted on yesterday with the base running being underrated for Jeff Bagwell. He's the only first baseman to go 30-30. Did it twice.
I think all those qualities about him you could say were underrated.
Yep.
And no one knows other than you and a handful of guys that could call him teammates how much of an impact he made in that room.
Yeah.
You can talk about it, you can hear his stories, but until you live it like you did and those guys that played with Bagwell did, remarkable the tenor he and Biggio set here all those years.
Well, I thought Lance really said it good. There was a video on El Grande here at Minute Maid Park for Jeff Bagwell, and Lance Berkman, first thing he said was, he goes, Jeff was the big brother. And he was. I mean, he loved all of his teammates, but he also had a way of communicating with them to encourage them and get them to play better. But those two guys got it done.
Play better and play the right way.
Yes. Play hard.
Here's Kevin Pillar. Swings at a pitch in on his hands. It's 0-1.
Get a lot of questions about that yellow spot on Biggio's retired number. And
yep.
He was the spokesman and leader of the Sunshine Kids organization. Still is a spokesman for them, and that's what that's for. That was a charity. He actually wore that pin on his hat when he played in games.
Ground ball slowly hit towards third. Bregman a quick throw to Altuve, and Altuve's throw into the Astros dugout. Not sure if Altuve ever had the grip on that baseball as he tried to make a quick turn. Since it lands in the dugout, that'll be an error on Jose, and that allows Kevin Pillar to go to second.
Would have been tough to turn that. Pillar runs well, but with the ball going into the dugout, now you're going to see Pillar move into scoring position. Sometimes you get a little quick on that exchange and lose a grip. And with Pillar running, you can see Altuve really trying to turn that as quick as he could. Didn't get a handle on it.
So the Astros get the one out, and now Fiers will face his former teammate Norioki. John Gibbons is coming out.
I think he's going to see if Jose Altuve was in contact with second base on that turn.
Uh-oh.
Didn't want to bring it up, but John Gibbons is going to bring it up.
Well, this could be an interesting review. If Altuve was not in contact with the bag with that throwing error, they will then place runners on second and third if this play is overturned. So they are challenging the fact that Altuve stayed on the bag at second before he threw the ball away.
And before the slide rule was in play and the replay was in play, yikes. But what I was going to try and get to is you see the grip not all the way on for Jose Altuve is before the slide rule. That's really close.
Hopefully it's close enough to get a stand call.
But before the slide rule was implemented, everybody, I'm not sure if everybody's heard about it, but there was a phrase called the phantom turn, phantom double play at second base. And the reason it was called phantom is because the umpires would actually give you a little bit of leeway to make a turn where you're not in contact because you're trying to avoid contact. But that was back in a day when guys would come flying at you, barrel rolls, body blocks, karate kicks, everything else trying to disrupt that double play. So they gave you an opportunity to kind of get off the base a little bit and make that turn. But this day and age with that new slide rule and the review being installed, you better be in contact with that bag because you're going to see a situation like you see right now where you try and get too quick and you disengage with that bag before you have the ball, and it's going to be reviewed and possibly overturned. I'm not sure. I'm with you. I'm not sure if there's enough to overturn this.
Because if you can see daylight between the spike and the base, then I think it's clear and convincing. I'm not sure if you can see that. That's going to stand, I think.
Yes.
There's no way that can be confirmed. Altuve just tried to get really quick and almost cost himself on both ends of the play. Almost cost himself on not keeping his foot on the bag, and also almost and did catch himself on the quick throw.
You see how his whole hand is around that baseball?
Like a changeup.
Yeah, it didn't really have that. That's not the COD you want to be throwing over to first. But yeah, that's not a good grip for a guy turning a double play.
Here's Norioki. Call does stand. It was not confirmed. They couldn't tell either way. And the pitch misses inside. But the Blue Jays do lose their challenge here in the fourth inning. Aoki was called out on a curveball for a called strike, his first time up. And that's another nice breaking ball to Aoki for another strike. It's 1-1. I wouldn't mind seeing, we've talked about this before, not just because it happened with the Astros prior, because now it happened on the other side. I think there should be some consideration to, if the call is just a stance, that you don't lose your challenge. Because basically they're saying there's not enough evidence one way or the other. You might be right, but we can't tell. If you challenge and the play is confirmed, then I think you should lose it. But
I like that idea.
Not sure if you should lose it for that. But it worked for the Astros in this case, but it's worked against them in the past too. 1-2 pitch. Chopped on the foot of Nori. Norichika Aoki became a part of the Japanese version of the Hall of Fame Mekukai Club with his 2,000 career hits. As a member of the Astros, combined between Japanese professional baseball and the major leagues. Close. Tough take for Aoki on that pitch near the knees. It's 2-2.
Good pitch. Pitcher's pitch too.
Corey's usually pretty good at spoiling those. He took a chance there by taking and got the call. This time he swings through it, fires, has struck out Aoki twice, and Ori doesn't strike out that often. The Fires have been able to get him.
The Astros 2-0. It's time to show you our Chevy stroke poll today. Make sure you're following us at ATT Sports Net SW. There we go. Which eligible former Astro should make the Hall of Fame in 2019? Andy Pettit, Corey Oswalt, Lance Berkman, Miguel Tejada. Let us know who you think it should be. We'll tell you who wins our Chevy stroke poll later in the broadcast. Todd.
All those former Astros eligible for the 2019 vote.
Can I write in Billy Wagner?
Billy Wags.
Thought he was pretty good.
Closers have not gotten as much love at the Hall of Fame as you would think.
That could change in the next couple of years. A couple of big names going on that ballot here pretty soon.
Oh, Mariano.
Some guy named Trevor.
Trevor Hoffman. Called strike to Yuli Gurriel. It's 1-1. Yuli, Marwin Gonzalez, and Carlos Beltran. But to me, it's different now with the closers, because in the past, guys used to go 2-3 innings at a time. and get saves.
Yeah.
Here's a line drive into right field. Bautista waits for it as it gets to him on a few bounces, and Yuli has a leadoff hit. Who's eligible next year for the Hall? Since we were just talking about the Jeff Bagwell Hall of Fame weekend here at Minute Maid Park. There's your boy Trevor at the top, coming in his 3rd year on the ballot. Vladdy Guerrero, Edgar Martinez getting a lot of votes, but a little bit shy this year. And then 1st year for Chipper and Jim Thome.
Larry, pretty good switch hitter. Some big names, some contemporaries coming up I played against throughout my career.
Chopper slowly hit towards second. Only one play, and that is Barney getting Marwin Gonzalez on the ground out. Yuli Gurriel moves into second. The year after, speaking of closers, that'll be as close as you can get to unanimous at the top.
Yep.
Roy Doc Halladay. We talked about Todd Helton earlier today. Andy Pettit, Lance Berkman.
Some great numbers.
Here's Carlos Beltran. Beltran takes the pitch for a strike at the knees. Beltran grounded out back to the pitcher his first time up. Speaking of Hall of Fame candidates, Carlos Beltran picking up his 2,700th hit in this series on Friday night. Career hit number 2,700. He's in the top 68 all time in baseball history. You also saw Chipper Jones on one of those lists. Carlos is ahead of Chipper for extra base hits amongst switch hitters and only trails one man now, Eddie Murray. Beltran's had a nice homestand, 7 for 22, has that average up to 242. Astros down 2-0. Despite the record of 70 and 40, the Astros have finished off some season series this year on the losing side. They've lost the season series to the Indians, the Kansas City Royals, and the Tampa Bay Rays. And today is the deciding game of the season series between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Astros. On the ground foul, it stays 1-2. So tempting. Don't leave your seat.
Just do it. Get lucky enough to have the ball boy send it to you. Well played.
Line drive past Ryan Goins into left field. Aoki gets the ball back in. Gurriel had to hold up in case Goins made the play. That was a bullet past the Toronto shortstop.
Got some league leaders, and they're going to be presented by Houston Methodist. Talking about Carlos Beltran and his career. Only 5 players in Major League history with more of each. That top category, extra base hits and stolen bases. A-Rod, Barry Bonds, Willie Mays, Ty Cobb, and Tris Speaker. Appreciate at Ace of Spader for some of these stats that are coming out on current Hall of Famer Jeff Bagwell and future Hall of Famer and Carlos Beltran. Some big names.
As big as they get in the game. Here's Alex Bregman, first and third, 1 out. That would be a pretty good time for Bregman to get his first hit against his teammate from Team USA, Marcus Stroman. Bregman and Stroman, part of the gold medal winning team this spring. He is 0 for 10 in his career against Stroman, including 3 strikeouts and a pop-up his first time up. Just missed. It's 1-1. First time the Astros have had a runner to third base. Yuli Gurriel there. Carlos Beltran on first. And Alex Bregman, who has been red hot at the plate. Slider away, 2-1. Last Astro to have extra base hits in 7 straight games like Alex Bregman has right now. Morgan Ensberg did it 11 years ago in 2006. He had 8 in a row.
That doesn't shock me. Mo could swing it. He had powered all fields. Stretch 04, 05, 06 where he was just dominant.
Bregman trying to get to 8 in a row with an extra base hit. He's in a hitter's count here at 3-1. Tough pitch on 3-1. Down and away to Bregman, and now the count's full.
It's a great pitch, 3-1. If you're going to get a knock off that, you got to be doing something a little bit extra. Good location.
Stays alive with that foul ball. Stroman is almost all fastball slider. He'll mix in a curve occasionally. First time he's gone to a full count in today's game.
Last time he faced the Astros threw 109 pitches, 78 fastballs, 23 sliders, and 8 changeups. But when you can locate your fastball in those lower edges, why not throw that fastball, especially when you're averaging 94 miles an hour?
Right-handers have hit him a little better this year than lefties, and they've hit him for more power as well. Just a piece. Stroman threw that slider thinking he was going to get the strikeout, and Bregman just got enough of it.
Just enough.
9th pitch of this at bat. Ball 4. Great job by Bregman, hanging in there on some tough pitches and then drawing the walk. To me, he's as locked in now as he's been all year.
I agree. That was a veteran AB. Fought off some tough pitches on the edge, but didn't expand because he didn't have to.
How about this spot for Juan Centeno, just called up? His 3rd game as an Astro, batting with the bases loaded, 1 out in a 2-0 game. Centeno fouls one. Centeno walked his first time up. Juan was batting .323. for AAA Fresno with 12 doubles and a home run. This season at the big league level, he's 3 for 7 with a walk. Ground ball. Barney gloves it, throws to second for 1. The return throw in time for the double play. Nicely turned by the Blue Jays.
There might be a question at second base on whether or not Goins was on that bag.
A.J. Hinch is going to look at the video before we go to break. A.J. has got his hand up in the dugout. It's a nice turn by Barney. The only question the Astros have is whether Goins stayed on the bag at second as he made the transition on the double play throw. Centeno was retired on the double play, and there is no challenge. Still 2-0 Toronto. fifth inning. Marcus Stroman inducing a double play to end that bottom half of the fourth. That's the 25th double play turned behind him, most for any pitcher in the big leagues this year. Darwin Barney will lead off the top half of the fifth inning for the Blue Jays. Darwin reached on an error his first time up and scored a run as Jose Bautista would hit a home run. Barney hitting just under 400 during this 8-game hitting streak. Takes a called strike. Barney was the key to that last play. It was not an easy double play to turn, but once he made that play to his left and fired to Goins, they were able to get Centeno. Pitch inside. It's 1-1. Fiers has struck out 5. He has walked 2 and hit a batter. He's only allowed the 1 hit so far, the home run by Bautista. Barney down to the count 1-2. Astros will be heading out on the road. Their home record continues to be, by comparison, not so good compared to the road record. Just 32-25 coming in to today's game at home. They know they're going to have a losing homestand today. Either way, it's either going to be a 2-5 or 3-4 homestand. On the road, they are 38-15. Foul ball back. It's 2-2.
Fiers has worked with Centeno before. He was right here against the Detroit Tigers. Only went 4 2/3, gave up 10 hits and 3 earned runs, throwing 85 pitches in 4 2/3.
I was going to bring up that start because that was kind of the line of demarcation for Mike Fiers. After that, that was when A.J. Hinch said, you know what, Brad Peacock's throwing well in the bullpen. We're going to kind of flip you guys and let Peacock be a starter for a little while. Brad had pitched very well in a spot start. Fiers for about 24 hours thought he was going to the bullpen, and then Charlie Morton came down with his injury, and Fiers was right back into the rotation. And since then, since that start where he pitched with Centeno behind the plate, beginning with the start in Minnesota, he's gone 6-4 with a 3.15 in his last dozen starts. That's 7th in the American League in ERA during that stretch, and he's been a savior with Keuchel and Morton coming back from their injuries, and Colin McHugh as well. Bautista, who homered the last time up, gets jammed on this at bat and pops one to Alex Bregman for out number 2. You can make your mark at Minute Maid Park with a customized brick that will welcome fans into the ballpark for seasons to come. Order your commemorative brick now at astros.com/bricks.
Mike Fiers is doing a very good job of command. First pitch strikes, 14 out of 19 so far in this ball game.
You can make the case that there's only been one bad pitch thrown today.
Oh, I completely agree on that. And it wasn't even that awful of a pitch. It was just a breaking ball down, but it backed up to the inside corner where Jose Bautista could get the head out on it. But even so, that should have been a 1-0 game instead of a 2-0 game because of the error previously.
They got the ground ball prior to that on the 0-2 count to Darwin Barney, and Marwin Gonzalez threw a ball in the dirt, ended up costing the Astros a run. Pitch misses away. It's 2-1. Martin had struck out a couple of times, but he's ahead of the count here, 3-1. Fiers has gotten Martin twice and Aoki twice of his 6 strikeouts. And now it's 3-2.
3-1 Cambio.
How about that?
Pull the string on him, keep him off balance. Showing good command of the fastball, curveball, and changeup today.
Misses there, and Fiers a little frustrated with himself. He went back-to-back changeups, huh?
Overthrew that one a little bit. Almost looked like there was a little hesitation in the delivery too, trying to get skittish.
So a 2-out walk to Martin, and Fiers will deal with Josh Donaldson. Donaldson's been on base his last 5 plate appearances against Fiers. 3 walks, a hit by pitch, and a home run. There's a strike that Donaldson fouls back, 0-1.
Safe to say he was ready to hit. Trying to ambush that first pitch.
He's hitting .343 in his last 29 games, so a little more than a month. It's basically when the Astros saw Donaldson right before the All-Star break, when he was just starting to heat up. Strike at the knees on the inside corner. It's 0-2. Blue Jays come into this game 9.5 back in last place in the AL East. Yet despite that, and there are a lot of teams they have to jump, only 2 teams with a worse record in the American League, but they're only 5 back in the wild card picture despite being 6 games under. One-two pitch into right field, well hit. Reddick on the move, and he'll get back and make the play. Josh Reddick, a running catch to end the 5th. We are halfway home with the Astros trailing 2-0. On AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Always fun at the ballpark. Catching foul ball is a big part of that experience. Good battle for that one. And with the Nolan Ryan jersey comes away with it as Jake Marisnick will lead things off for the Astros. Jake had that monster game right out of the gates, first game of this homestand, where he had 2 home runs, 3 hits, 5 runs batted in, and 4 runs scored. Only had one other hit since then, starting in his 6th game in this 7-game homestand. And he takes a called strike. It's 0-1. Jake flied to right his first time up. It'll be Jake in the top of the order, trying to solve Marcus Stroman. Stroman able to get a double play with the bases loaded and 1 out. Get out of the last inning. There's a base hit for Jake Marisnick down the left field line into the corner. Marisnick hustling to second. He's thinking about 3, and he is going to hold up. He watched Nori Aoki closely around first, and he saw Nori wasn't exactly busting it getting into that corner, so he put some pressure on him, and then Nori picked up the pace.
Good start to this 5th inning for the Astros when you got Jake from Rake Farm turning on a fastball down and in, getting extra bases out of it.
I love when base runners put pressure on the D.
The Astros, when they are going good, they have plenty of guys out there with speed, but they are very aggressive, sometimes to a fault. But it is fun to see what the kind of pressure they do put on defenses.
Derek Fisher takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Astros out hitting the Blue Jays 5-1 now. Second extra base hit of the game. Reddick with a double. Now Jake Marisnick with a double.
Opposing teams will have scouting reports on the other team as far as personality, and speed is one of them.
Up the middle, off the glove of Barney. No chance with Fisher running. Barney had to make a perfect play with a quick transition with Fisher running on the ball up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit for the Astros left fielder.
Looked like a little bit of indecision from Darwin Barney out there, but a great job by the young man, Derek Fisher. Leadoff double. Your job is to get that guy to third base so you can drive that run in. Does a good job of turning into a tough play for Darwin Barney, and it had to be a perfect play to get Derek Fisher going down the line.
That's why they gave him a hit. That's where speed can pick you up a base hit.
It doesn't even look like there's much effort behind it, but he is flying.
Altuve swings the first pitch and fouls one back.
But getting back to the scouting reports, you will have a team meeting as far as when you're as hitters. You will have your hitters meeting, but they will also mention some of the characteristics of the opposing team, and they will say speed. They will take advantage of 90 feet every opportunity they get. And knowing that going into a game may cause a little bit of stress.
All right, the plate is certainly one of those as he sends one into center field. That's a base hit. Marisnick will come home and score. And the Astros on the board with a Jose Altuve RBI. It's now a 2-1 game.
That was a very good RBI approach from a very good hitter in Jose Altuve. You can see him adjust his swing to force that baseball up the middle. Foot gets down, the hands stay back, and all he does is pull the barrel through to get that base hit up the middle. But he knew he wanted to stay in the middle part of the field. He didn't want to yank one to the third baseman because that would have left Jake Marisnick at third base.
So 3 consecutive hits for the Astros, and now first and second, nobody out, and Reddick, who has seen Stroman well in his career, chops one towards first. Smoke is going to flip to Stroman for the out there. Both runners advance. Reddick retired for the first out of the inning. Altuve to second, Fisher to third. Yuli Gurriel will bat with 2 runners in scoring position. Yuli a single his last time up. Having a nice series against the Blue Jays. The Jays will play the infield back with runners on second and third and 1 away. Inside for a ball, 1-0.
Good look at the infield. Sorry about that. Playing back, conceding the run at third base.
Gurriel normally a pretty good contact guy. Doesn't walk a lot, doesn't strike out a lot. There's the contact. Here comes the run, and it gets through Goins. Altuve to third as Aoki gets the ball back in. A ground ball right through the shortstop Goins' legs, and the Astros have tied the game at 2.
Ball was ripped. Bullet off the bat of Yuli Gurriel, and the feet got stagnant for Goins. When your feet settle, the hands get stiff, and you can see just a little bit of a yip gets right through the wickets. This will be a great look at it. On his heels, then you have to rely on the hands too much, and the ball gets by you.
So you'd prefer to see him coming forward?
I'd like to see him settle a little bit more, spread out the stance, and get down. Once those heels stick, all of a sudden you start to stand up a little bit.
Error on Goins. It's an RBI for Gurriel because Fisher was coming home on the ground ball. Altuve gets the third on the error. Now it's Marwin Gonzalez's turn. Tie game at 2. Pitch away for a ball, 1-0. Gonzalez looking to solve Stroman for the first time in his career. He does not have any hits in 6 career at-bats. Astros with 7 hits. Gurriel reaching on the air. 4 of the 5 hitters in this inning have reached. Marwin into the air, lifts one to left. Aoki all the way back. He is there on the track and makes the play. Altuve will tag and score easily. Gurriel has to hustle back to first, which he does. And the Astros take a 3-2 lead.
What do you think about 10, 15 feet to the left? 3-run jack.
Not easy to elevate against Stroman.
Really isn't. But he actually got a pitch that he could elevate and drive. And that's what you're looking to do when you're up at the plate with a guy at third base, less than 2 outs. Something you can drive that outfield portion to pick up that RBI. He does just that, but came extremely close to making this a little bit different outcome.
3-run inning as the Astros lead for the first time today. Slider for a strike to Carlos Beltran. Gurriel really had to hustle back to first. He was basically standing on the bag at second when Aoki made that catch. He was watching Aoki's route and thought that might fall in. Beltran with a single his last time up. Carlos hitting .333 on this homestand. And he's ahead of the count now, 2-1. Extended inning here for Marcus Stroman. Double, single, single, an error involved, and a sacrifice fly. Chopper slowly hit. Barney coming in. Beltran trying to beat it out. He will! Carlos Beltran, an infield single. He's 2 for 3, and the inning's alive.
Sometimes you can hit it through the shift. Sometimes you hit it in front of the shift. Darwin Barney playing a deep second base, shallow right field in this shift. You see him back there just in front of Jose Bautista. But with that ball chopped, and for me, with him not running in, playing it like a do or die and settling his feet right here, gave Carlos Beltran an extra step to beat this play.
And he's played some third base too. You almost have to play that like a slow chopper down the third base side.
Well, we saw him earlier in the game make a good play on Derek Fisher charging in on the do or die play. That time he opted to go for the little more of a settled, natural fielding position as opposed to charging it.
At that point, you almost have to think about trying to barehand it or keep coming in. Beltran beats out the infield hit. Carlos will take it. That's 2,704 hits now in Carlos Beltran's career. And here's Alex Bregman. Bregman drew a really good walk in his last plate appearance. Fought off some tough 2-strike pitches before drawing a walk against a pitcher that he has struggled against. Takes a pitch low for a ball, 1-0. 8th batter of the inning for the Astros against Stroman in the 5th. Goins makes the play for the final out. But the Astros take the lead for the first time. 3-run score, 3 hits, an error, 2-man left on base.
Is 3-2 now the score, top of the 6th. Your local Honda dealer brings you Name That Astro. It's time to play. Here's your clues. Hermosa in the year 2000 in minor leagues. At ATT Sportsnet SW is where we want you to tweet your guess to Name That Astro.
I think I got it. It is.
Wait
a minute.
Gosh, you guys.
Just wait.
You guys are such rule followers.
Other people have to play, Blummer.
Right.
But what if I beat him? I win.
Somebody's still writing down the clues.
6th inning baseball. Justin Smoke leads things off. Takes a pitch inside for a ball. Smoke is grounded out and flied out. Mike Fiers working with a lead for the first time today. Astros scoring 3 in the 5th off Marcus Stroman. 2 of those runs earned, 1 unearned. With the error by Ryan Goins extending that inning. As Fiers misses on the first 2 here to Smoke, it's 2-0. Mike had a little extended rest with that 5th inning. 8 men coming to the plate for the Astros. Now it's 2-1.
Jeff Bagwell's statue receiving another throw from his good buddy Craig Biggio across the way. Immortalized out there. Need to get him a tarp.
Looks like little raindrops on the statue out there.
There's Bish hiding out.
2-2 the count. Ball is hit hard in the right field for a base hit. Reddick tries to get over in a hurry to cut it off. He does, and that keeps Smoke at first base with a leadoff single. Nice play by Josh. He is always working out there. Recipient before the game of the Heart and Hustle Award, Josh Reddick, deservedly so.
Yeah, he definitely fits the mold.
It's going to be tough to wrestle that award away from him. Somebody
with all that stickum on it.
That too. Breaking ball to Morales for a called strike.
Somebody spent some serious time shining that thing up, and he grabs it and just goes into this pine tart funk.
Yeah, he is definitely got some Dr. Dirt in him. Little fly ball to left for out number 1. He keeps that dab on his cap where he goes to get a little better grip on the baseball when he throws. His helmet's always a mess. See that little.
You just call him a mess?
His helmet.
You just called him a mess.
But the reason it'll be hard because nobody's going to out hustle him.
No.
So the only way he loses that award is just they don't feel like it should be the same guy year in and year out.
Yeah, they get bored giving it to him.
Because nobody will ever run harder on every play than Josh Reddick. Here's Ryan Goins. Goins has struck out and popped up. Morales flied out to left for the first out. Fires with a runner on first and one away. Goins made his big league debut here almost 4 years ago, August 23rd. And it could be two. Marwin Gonzalez has to race to the bag, and he throws off balance and throws a bullet to the knees of Yuli Gurriel for the double play. That is athleticism and a great arm.
It's nice when you can shift and have a guy that can play both second and short in one play, but airborne and a bullet to first to get that DP.
To the bottom of the sixth. George Springer, we hope to see him on the field. He hopes pretty soon. He's been on the 10-day DL with that left quad discomfort, but it's taken a little more than 10 days for him to be completely ready to go. He ran the bases yesterday, ran again today. Now it's an off day for the team, so he'll have off as well. Tuesday, though, in Chicago, he'll run early, and that's kind of the last test for him. If he's ready to go, he can be activated there, but no reason to speed this up. They want him to be 100%. Springer, though, has said things are very good, and he is adamant about getting out there and being able to help his club again, guys.
We would love to see him back and healthy and playing against the White Sox in Chicago as Juan Centeno leads things off. Julia, how has George handled your request not to bother his teammates while on the DL?
He's not great at not bothering anyone. No, he's been entertaining, to say the least, in the dugout.
Centeno with a base hit into right field. He'll think about making the turn, but he'll hold up on Batista. And Juan Centeno has been on base 2 or 3 times now. A walk, a double play, and a single into right. George has too much personality to chill out in the dugout while on the DL. It's good buddy Jake Marisnick batting. He doubled his last time up and got things going in that 5th when the Astros scored 3 to take a 3-2 lead. Stroman struck out 2 in the first inning. He got Altuve swinging, and he had Gurriel looking at a called strike. Since then, Stroman has not struck out anybody. Astros have done a good job putting the ball in play against this Blue Jays right-hander. Good take by Jake. It's 1-1. Last time Stroman struck out 6 Astros in 7 innings of work. Jake ahead 2-1. Three and 1 to count. Count goes full. Just the second full count tonight for Stroman, or this afternoon I should say. 81 pitches. Astros have been pretty aggressive against him today, putting the first or second pitch in play quite often. Jake stays alive at 3-2. 9 hits allowed by Marcus. Only 2 allowed by Fiers. Stroman strikes out Marisnik for the first out of the 6th, and that is his first strikeout since the first inning.
Be on the lookout for exciting promotions coming up at Minute Maid Park in August, including Friday night fireworks, Dollar Dog Wednesdays, and Legends Weekend. Visit Astros.com/promotions for more info.
Derek Fisher batting with 1 on and 1 out. He reached base yet again. That's now 16 of 17 games for Fisher reaching base with an infield hit his last time up. Breaking ball catches the corner. It's 0-1.
9 hits by the Astros are the second highest total that Stroman's given up this year. Gave up 11 hits back in April against the Boston Red Sox.
He's been very good, but he doesn't have that killer slider where he's been getting swings and misses. His swing and miss rate's as high this year as it's ever been. And he's getting his best lack of contact rate outside the zone. But the Astros have done a nice job putting the ball in play and not chasing. There's a chase, though. On a 1-1 pitch, it's 1-2. Astros have had a good approach. Only 86 pitches for Stroman. That's like a walk in the park. He generally is over 100, but Dominic Leone is starting to warm up. Fisher, who doesn't leave the zone very often, a good take there. It's 2-2. Centeno on first, 1 out. Astros lead 3-2. Want to get it on the hands of Fisher. Instead, it's a strike at the knees. And back-to-back strikeouts for Stroman. 2 in this inning, 4 in the game.
Today's Unlimited Baseball Break is brought to you by T-Mobile. Talking Jose Altuve and Pete Rose. Just a comparison as far as hits, batting average, and age. Jose Altuve ahead. It's 935 games into their career. Jose Altuve just a little bit ahead, but I think the time factor is in his favor. He's definitely, in order to rack up that many hits, you've got to be racking them up for a lot of years. He's only 2,995 behind the hit record. So you got to have a Hall of Fame career from here on out. That's all.
I was coming into today, so with those 2 more hits, Altuve on the precipice of 1,200 hits for his career. He needs 1 more. If he gets another hit in this game, it will be his 21st 3-hit game of the season. he has 3-hit games like most guys have multi-hit games. They do come in bunches without Tuve. Tough pitch, fouled away. It's 1-2. Astros getting 3 in the 5th. They have had a base runner on in 5 of the 6 innings. Chop towards third, but foul. Another good crowd on this Sunday afternoon. The weekend is going to be right around 120,000 for the 3-game series against the Blue Jays. Almost 42,000 last night. Season high for the Bagwell ceremonies. 2-2 the count. Three and two. So now with 2 outs, Centeno gets a lead off first. He'll get a head start. So Altuve puts one in the gap. Astros can add to their lead.
It would be a pretty good pitch. I think Altuve is ready to crush one.
Called third strike on the inside corner. Altuve takes a called third as Stroman strikes out 3 in the inning. Mike Fiers coming on to the 7th inning, leading 3-2.
Three 3-2 Astros, and time to reveal the results of tonight's Chevy Stropole, or today. It's still the afternoon. Which eligible former Astros should make the Hall of Fame in 2019? What a love for Lance Berkman with 47%. That is the winner. What do you guys think up there?
It's pretty good. Lance is going to, I mean, he's switch hitter, 350 plus home runs. It's going to get some recognition. Just not sure he has enough to put him over the top and put him into that Hall of Fame stature for me. Personality wise, Hall of Famer.
First ballot. Fouled off the bat of Kevin Pillar, 0-2. Good Stropole today. Candidates from Astros history for the Hall of Fame. Jeff Bagwell. Hall of Fame appreciation weekend here. Had Bagwell on the broadcast last night. He addressed the crowd. Mike Fiers delivers a ground ball to the right side, and Pilar into the shift has himself a base hit. Only the third hit allowed by Fiers, a Pilar leadoff base runner.
Set up inside, just missed his spot, pays for it with Pilar going towards that open region of the ballpark.
It's one of those as a pitcher, you're thinking, all right, I got a second base. Oh, no, I don't.
Nope.
The shift will take away more than it allows, but in that case, Pilar able to find the spot on the right side. So now here's Norioki. Oki with a couple of strikeouts. Fiers has struck out 6, but has not struck out anybody since Aoki to lead off the 5th. Takes a pitch for a ball, 1-0. Nori had that batting average moving up before the trade. Has hit .345 in his last dozen games before today. Astros get their first bullpen action going of the afternoon. Down low, it's 2-0.
You know, with that straw poll question about Lance Berkman, he is 28th all time as far as OPS. 9.429 OPS all time.
Wow.
Ahead of Shoeless Joe Jackson, Hack Wilson, Vladimir Guerrero, and Chipper Jones, just to name a couple.
Wow. Ball hit to right field. Pretty well hit. Reddick all the way back to the wall. This ball's gone. Norioki gives the Toronto Blue Jays a 4-3 lead with a 2-run home run into the Astros bullpen. For Aoki, just his 3rd home run of the season, and his first start with Toronto. Hits a 2-run shot to right.
Didn't see that coming. Talk about it all the time. Revenge ABs. This is a pretty good one right here from Nori. A couple of punch outs in his first 2 ABs, and then gets a hold of a fastball here from Mike Fiers. 25th home run given up from Mike Fiers.
Ball fouled the other way off the bat of Darwin Barney. It's one way to endear yourself to the new team is to hit a big home run. Aoki hit a 3-run home run most recently in Baltimore for the Astros, and now does damage against his former team, and the breaking ball stays in and hits Barney. So the 3rd and 4th hits allowed by Fiers in the game, and now he hits his second batter. And A.J. Hinch out of the dugout. That'll do it for Mike Fiers tonight as he faces the lineup 3 times all the way through. Aoki with a 2-run home run. And he leaves on the trailing end of a 4-3 score. We'll tell you about the new Astros reliever when we come back. Three in the 7th inning. Get a behind-the-scenes look at historic Union Station luxury suites and the broadcast booth even the dugouts with a Minute Maid Park tour. Visit Astros.com/tours to book yours today. New pitcher for the Astros, as it's now a 4-3 Toronto Blue Jays lead. Luke Gregerson comes on, face the top of the order, taking over from Mike Fiers.
Luke pitched yesterday through a third of an inning. Got one punch out with that third of an inning, throwing 6 pitches on the season. You see his ERA right around 4. And his issues at home, pitching relatively well on the road.
47 games, the most for the Astros this season, and he will face the top of the order, Jose Bautista. Blue Jays can hit some home runs, but the Astros weren't anticipating a home run out of Aoki. Big home run for the former Astro in this inning, giving his team a 4-3 lead. Bautista's hit a home run in 3 at-bats. Blue Jays have a dozen home runs in their last 6 games, going back to the Chicago series. 1-0 the count to Bautista. Blue Jays led 2-0 on the Bautista home run. Astros came back with 3 in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And then Aoki giving the Jays a 4-3 lead with his own 2-run home run. That pitch was close. Call it a ball. It's 3-0.
It's a good pitch and a 2-0 count. Luke Gregerson, you can see him staring in, and Rob Drake wanted that call. He also needed it.
Now it's 3-1.
Third pitch is pretty good in that lower outside portion of the plate. More than enough baseball in the zone.
All the baseball inside our MD Anderson strike zone. High pop-up foul. Bregman has some room. Makes the play for out number 1. Bautista pops up. Here's Russell Martin. Martin drew a walk. He's also struck out a couple of times. Fiers ends up going 6 innings plus 3 batters in the 7th. Still responsible for their runner on first base, Darwin Barney. Allowed 4 hits, and to this point 4 runs. There goes the runner, and Martin fouls it away. It's 0-1. Throw, and Barney gets back safely.
I like it. Let them know that you brought your cannon with you. Astros need that behind the dish. Tim Leeper, the first base coach for the Toronto Blue Jays. Interesting fact about him is that he managed both myself and my brother in the Expos organization.
Really?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
He managed my brother in A-ball with the Montreal Expos. They were the Jupiter Hammerheads, and I came through on a rehab assignment. And he managed that ball club that I was rehabbing on.
There goes the runner. The pitch is soft served into center for a base hit. Barney had already committed, so he just kept going, and he's going to get to third. Martin didn't hit it hard, but he hit it in the right spot. A base hit to center. Now the Blue Jays have first and third with one out.
Well, you called it. This is exactly what it is. Just served into center field. Intent was just to get the bat somewhere on that baseball, and he lucked out by dropping it in front of Jake out there in center field. Barney goes first to third because he was on the move.
Now Gregerson will deal with Luke Donaldson. Runners on the corners and one out. Chopper, Gregerson will come home. Centeno has Barney hung up. Centeno runs him all the way back, and he is out. Nice play by the Astros catcher to not have to make a throw in the rundown.
Great play by Centeno. Good play and good decision by Luke Gregerson, also recognizing after he gets this baseball is that he had an opportunity at home to cut that run off. And with Barney tagged out right there, keeps that insurance run from crossing. So many times you see young catchers get a little too aggressive and throw that baseball early, but he did a good job of running the runner back to the base he started from.
Justin Smoak, the batter. Smoak 1 for 3. That's a good point, because even though Centeno just called up, it's only his third game of the year. He's had plenty of big league experience. Did not rush anything. The game kept the game pretty slow and calm in that situation.
Yep.
It's nice to have guys like him and Max Stassi available when you need catching help.
I've been impressed with Centeno. He's put together some good ABs. Obviously, the home runs are nice. Walk and a base hit in this game, but again, he's got to go back there and be a good receiver, work with these pitchers. He also provides a little bit of an arm too.
1-1 the count to Smoak.
And also, when you're on a contending team, it's nice to have those guys with a little bit of experience because they're not overwhelmed by the situation.
Centeno had his most at bats and most games played last year with the Minnesota Twins. Also appeared with the Brewers for a season, short time, and the Mets for a couple of years and short stints as well. In the air to center field, sends Marisnick back. He's all the way to the track. He's still going, and he reaches up and can't make the play. It's over his head. 2 runs are going to score. Smoak into second with a double, and it's now a 6-3 Blue Jays lead.
Pretty uncharacteristic move from Jake Marisnick, who usually does a very good job in his routes. Does a good job using that speed to get himself in position to make a play. This one just kept twisting over his head. This will be a good look at it. Remember, when a left-hander hits it, it will slice towards that left field side of the ballpark. And Jake just got twisted around on that one. Almost feel like it carried a little bit further than he anticipated too.
Crashing into the wall.
Yeah, he got to know that center field fence real quick.
Now ground ball into the shift. Altuve will make the play on Kendrys Morales for the final out of the inning. But 4 runs scored for the Blue Jays. A 7th inning stretch time at Minute Maid Park, and it's 6-3 Toronto. The Astros, we head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch time at Minute Maid Park, and it's time for us to play. Presented by Toyota. Heart and Hustle Award. No better candidate than number 22, Josh Reddick.
He has really endeared himself to these fans here in Houston with that heart and hustle play. He has been all over the place in right field, had the opportunity to play center and left. He's a part of the Cupid Shuffle. He's got a great arm out there and been an asset on defense. But what I enjoy is the fact that he is out there getting dirty on a daily basis, putting together some tough ABs. Highest line drive percentage on this team for the Houston Astros. It's been a lot of fun to watch and a great addition to this ball club.
Reddick will lead things off. Astros trying to come from behind yet again. They trailed 2-0 in this game, scored 3 off of Marcus Stroman in the 5th. And now they trail by 3, 6-3. After a 4-run top half of this inning, Norioki, the former Astro, with a 2-run home run, and Justin Smoke, the All-Star, with a 2-run double. Marcus Stroman has thrown 95 pitches through 6 innings. He, on a regular basis, goes over 100 pitches, including 119 pitches, a career high, in a start at the end of June. It'll be Reddick, Yuli Gurriel, and Marwin Gonzalez in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Called strike. Reddick is 1 for 3 against Stroman today. Doubled the opposite way. Hit a line drive to right for an out and also grounded out. $36,300 this afternoon at Minute Maid Park. $41,950 yesterday and almost $40,000 on Friday night. Great weekend filled with fans here at Minute Maid for this Jays and Astros Bagwell Appreciation Weekend. Called strike, it's 1-2. That's in the dirt. It's 2-2. Stroman about to make his 100th pitch. He threw 99 in his last start. And he gets Josh Reddick. After striking out 2 in the 1st inning, Stroman didn't have any strikeouts in innings 2 through 5. Then he struck out all 3 in the 6th and now starts the 7th with a strikeout. So that's the last 4 batters he has faced. He has struck out Marisnik, Fisher, Altuve, and now Reddick, and here's Yuli Gurriel. Yuli had an RBI his last time up, ended up reaching on an error. He's officially 1 for 3 with a run batted in. We have seen Stroman at times react today, but he has been much more subdued than we saw in his start at the Rogers Center at home against the Astros.
You got any reasoning behind that, or is he just making the adjustment? Is it because the Astros have racked up 9 hits and he hasn't been overly dominant?
Well, he definitely helps when he plays the crowd. I think that amps him up a little more.
A little bit different at home.
Well, he had a nice little back and forth in Chicago on his last start on the road. Julia?
I was asking AJ about this before the game, you know, knowing what he's done in the last couple of starts. They obviously watch the highlights. They know what he's up to, and they've faced him so many times that they know the kind of emotion that he pitches with. AJ saying that some of that stuff is more of an eye roll for his club, and they just have to look past it, and it's not a big deal until it gets confrontational. But until then, it's more about what they're doing and focusing on their at-bat and not really paying attention to what he's doing on the mound.
Well, so far, they've tagged him for 9 hits and 3 runs, although one of them's unearned. 3-2 pitch is up the middle. Goins to his left has it and makes a nice play to get Gurriel for out number 2.
Watch MLB.tv every night on every device. Get every out-of-market game live, plus a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Two outs, bases empty, and Stroman will face Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin a sac fly his last time up. At the time, it gave the Astros their first lead, 3-2. There's a call strike.
Hey, Todd, is he going to qualify for anything yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Still working on it.
With the day off yesterday.
Man.
Came in 4 plate appearances shy of qualifying for the league leaders, and he'll pick up 1 or 2 on that today. If he doesn't get another plate appearance, he'll pick up 1 on that, so he'll be 3 shy going into tomorrow. That moving line just continues to stay just ahead of Marwin Gonzalez. .3.1 plate appearances per team's games played. Marwin's been just shy of that for a few weeks now. Came within a plate appearance before the day off yesterday. Stroman hurries with that delivery, and it's 2-2. Francis Martez has been throwing. He has been joined out there by Ramin Goudoin.
It's a couple of young kids out there getting loose in that Astros bullpen.
Hard throwers. Stroman now at 111 pitches. He's been over 110 2 other times this year. In the right field for a base hit to the wall. Gonzalez takes the turn and he will hold up. Batista gets it back in quickly. Marwin a 2-out base runner. Hit number 10 on the day against Stroman.
Oh, smoked. I don't know if there was much intent for Marwin to go 2 on this. He was pretty content with just hitting a rocket off of Marcus Stroman. Good swing, good result. Take a peek and a bat flip.
There's a little cat and mouse during that whole at bat. Marwin took his time getting into the box after the 2-2 count. And then Stroman was really deliberate with his delivery after that. Here's Carlos Beltran, 0-1 count. Carlos with a couple of hits today, including an infield hit. 1-1. .360 Carlos is up to now during this homestand. Has a batting average up to .246. Off his foot at the plate. And it's 1-2.
Marwin's base hit so far the hardest hit baseball in this game. 108.1 miles an hour off the bat.
Foot barking a little bit on Beltran as he takes his time, and the home plate umpire Rob Drake with the veteran at the plate cleaning off home plate just to give him a few extra seconds.
Not uncommon to see a guy named Drake at a Toronto sporting event, is it? High velocity stat presented by Xfinity. In the 4th inning for Carlos Beltran. He gets a base hit on 100.6 miles an hour off the bat. And guess what? He's also got a base hit, only hitting at 67 miles an hour off the bat. Tale of 2 velocities.
Yeah, Drake likes the 6, the TO. 1-2 the count. Marcus Stroman is approaching his career high in pitches. It's 119. He did that earlier this year in a homestand against Baltimore on June 28th. Got to think this is his last batter. If Beltran reaches, the tying run would be at the plate, and he would be approaching 120 pitches. Line drive, single to left, Carlos Beltran. After a Marwin Gonzalez single, the Astros have 2 on, the tying run coming to home plate, and out of the dugout comes John Gibbons. Alex Bregman due up as the tying run. And in this 6-3 game, Gibbons has made the motion to the bullpen, and Stroman's day is done at 118 pitches. We'll be back with more after this. Dive his career high through 118 today, and gets a pat on the back from his manager John Gibbons as he turns the ball over after 6 2/3 innings of work and 11 hits allowed to the right-hander Dominic Leone.
Stroman pitched extremely well, still responsible for those 2 guys out there on first and second. It'll be up to Dominic Leone to take care of that, making his 42nd appearance. Very good ERA, 2.59. That whip is nice also, as close to 1 as he can get right now. Astros would like to destroy some of those numbers and get back into this ball game and take a lead.
Well, Alex Bregman will stride to the plate and be the first one to face Leone. Bregman not only has a hitting streak going, he has an extra base hitting streak going. He has an extra base hit in 7 straight games. Today 0 for 2, including a walk. Fastball from Leone misses. It's 1-0.
Pretty good heater in 95. Also has a curveball and a slider.
It's a lot of swings and misses. Other than Osuna out of the bullpen, he has the 2nd highest whip percentage. There's a fastball at 96 on the outside corner. So he has come out thrown a 95 and a 96. When he's around 94. There's that slider. A lot to right-hand hitters like Bregman. Just staying with the heat here, though, and paints the corner again. It's 1-2. Gonzalez on second. Marwin with a base hit. Beltran on first. Carlos has 3 base hits today. And Bregman represents the tying run at the plate. High in the air, right field, playable. Pilar points to Jose Bautista, who makes the catch for the final out. So we're through 7, 2 left on, and it's still 6-3. Final game of this 7-game homestand. The Astros will then head on the road. The road ahead is driven by DeMontron RV. Take a look at the probables for the 3-game set in Chicago against the White Sox. A couple of lefties, Dallas Keuchel and Derek Holland, go at it Tuesday night. Colin McHugh, Miguel Gonzalez, Brad Peacock, Carlos Rodon. The White Sox are trying to play for the future and build up some of their young players as they made some deals at the trade deadline. White Sox currently in last place in the AL Central. The Astros have struggled in this series against the team in last place in the AL East as Ramin Gudwan comes out of the bullpen to pitch the 8th.
Ramin appeared in the first game of this series, went an inning through 9 pitches. He was clean. See that good live arm at 96 miles an hour.
Gudwan faces Ryan Goins, who is 0 for 3 today. You look at the overall numbers, the White Sox 26 games under, they are definitely out of it in the AL. And then the A's are 13 games under, they are out of it in the AL. But everybody else, including this Blue Jays team, within 5 games of the wild card second slot, have to at least feel like they have a chance as Goins hits a ground ball between the shortstop and third base hole on the left side for a leadoff hit in the 8th.
Goins not afraid to take those lefties the other way. He had a big hit against Liriano last night, a 2-strike count on an elevated slider up out of the plate. Didn't do too much damage with it other than going the other way and driving a run in.
Here's Kevin Pillar. Pillar has reached on a single and scored a run. 6-3 Blue Jays. 2 big hits in the 7th inning. 2 RBI double with 2 outs by Justin Smoke and the 2-run home run by Nori Aoki. Aoki is on deck. And a 1-0 count to Pillar. Breaking ball called strike. Blue Jays head back home after this game. They'll have a day off tomorrow. Charity event for the team in Toronto. Then they'll welcome in the Yankees for 3, the Pirates for 3, and the Tampa Bay Rays for 4. Ball hit hard, but fouled. Stays 1-2 on Pilar. Blue Jays won the first 2 out of 3 on this road trip in Chicago, and they're leading in this game 6-3, trying to win back-to-back series for the first time since May. End of May, they took a 2-game series in Milwaukee against the Brewers and followed that up by winning 2 out of 3 against Texas and sweeping the Cincinnati Reds. That's the last time they won as many as 2 series in a row. It's been an uneven year for John Gibbons. But his team has been playing a little bit better lately. Pilar fouls another away.
Surprised he's taking a pitch in this at bat.
With some of those pitches he's hit.
That was a pretty aggressive attempt on that pitch. Almost looked like a pitch out.
Yeah. Continues to stay alive at 1-2.
Good use of the lid. Not only is it a quaff cover, it's a ball retriever.
While the Jays are trying to win back-to-back series for the first time since May, the Astros are trying to avoid losing 8 of 11 for the first time all season. One other time A.J. Hinch's group lost 7 out of 10. Began in a series in Kansas City when Dallas Keuchel went on the DL. But they have not had a stretch of 11 games where they've been 3-8. Pilar continues to somehow foul off pitches that are well outside the zone and stays alive 1-2.
It's almost like a cricket tryout, AB. Spraying the baseball all over the place except in fair territory. Veteran move by Centeno right here to try and get Gudwan right. Maybe give him a little bit of a breather.
On this next pitch, we will show you the MD Anderson strike zone, and you will see that despite the fact that there's only 1 ball in this sequence.
I mean, that's some serious coverage.
There's been 2 inside the zone, 6 out of the zone, and it's 1-2. We'll do it all over again at 1-2. This will be the 10th pitch of the at-bat. After a meeting on the mound, Gudwan and Centeno trying to find out some pitch that Pilar can't foul off. They've gone through every quadrant of the zone and outside the zone.
I think the only one having fun is Kevin Pilar.
7 straight foul balls. No chase there on the 10th pitch, and we finally get our second ball. Juan's getting a workout in 1 batter.
He is.
You rarely see a strike zone like that in an at bat. That's all over the board. And he wins the battle after that long AB with a single to left. Pilar kept staying alive and ends up with a single to left. Back-to-back hits allowed by Gudwan. The Blue Jays starting to pile up some hits. For a while, they only had a couple of hits against Fires. Now they're up to 8.
Finally decided to keep one fair. He's definitely in pull mode.
Starter Mike Fiers allowed 1 hit through 5, 2 through 6. And then he allowed that little ground ball single by Pilar against the shift and the home run by Aoki. And one batter later, he was out of the game. Here is Nori Aoki. He changed this game. His team was down 3-2. Fiers in his last inning of work. Aoki was able to hit a pitch on a 1-0 count into the Astros bullpen for a 2-run home run, showing bunt, and he bunts one foul. I don't remember Nori bunting too many times with the Astros.
He's a power source. But you get traded over, and sometimes you have to learn some new signs, and see him talking to the third base coach Rivera, trying to iron things out.
Nori had 1 successful sacrifice in his 72 games with Houston. Third home run of the year for Aoki. Starting his first game with the Blue Jays. This time he swings away and he's down in the count 0-2. It's been a difficult homestand in terms of the initial returns on the deal. First 2 outings for Francisco Liriano, he has been tagged with a loss for the Astros, and then Aoki hitting that 2-run home run that gave the Blue Jays the lead in the 7th. Won't be bunting here, you wouldn't think, down 0-2. Up high, 1-2. Gudwan, after allowing a couple of base hits, trying to work through the bottom of the order here and keep this at a 3-run game. Only 1 hit through 5 for Toronto, 2 through 6, and now they're up to 8 hits as they bat with nobody out in the 8th.
It has been a foul ball bonanza in this inning.
Two and two.
It's kind of interesting just watching Ramin Gudwan and the hitters. We really haven't seen too many hitters panic against him, and it kind of gives me the impression that they are seeing the ball early out of the hand of Ramin Gudwan. Able to fight off some off-speed pitches, but that last pitch to Nori Aoki down in the zone, he spit on that thing early. That was a 95-mile-an-hour heater out of a left-hander.
More pitches in the zone and around the zone in this AB than the Pilar strike zone. Pilar strike zone was one of the more crazy ones you'll see all year. Nori always battles with 2 strikes. We saw that plenty of times in an Astros uniform. Fouling off pitch after pitch with 2 strikes. After an 11-pitch at bat to Kevin Pilar, this would now be the 8th pitch of this at bat to Nori Aoki. Owens hit the first pitch he saw for a single. Now 19 pitches in the inning as Aoki fouls one back. Take that 22 pitches in the inning. 19 the last 2 batters. And Gudwan finally wins the battle, getting Aoki chasing. Aoki strikes out 3 times in this game. That probably hasn't happened very often in his career, and there's 1 out. A.J. Hinch out of the dugout. Gudwan facing 3 batters. He had a right-hander warming up, and that's who he will go to. We'll tell you about the new Astros reliever when we come back. To 3 as we play in the 8th inning. 1 out, 2 on. Ramin Gudwan faced 3 batters in the 8th, and he gives way to the youngster Francis Martez.
Frankie Tuesday getting another appearance out of that bullpen. He has pitched in 14 games. 4 of those have been starts. 34 2/3 innings with 41 punch-outs is a good number. Electric arm with that fastball, slider, changeup. Pitched in that Tampa Bay series last time. On the 3rd, went 2 innings. Gave up 1 hit, a couple of walks, and a punch-out through 35 pitches in those 2 innings.
So he will face Darwin Barney, the number 9 hitter. Barney continues to get on base in this series. He did not start in the game on Friday, but played last night. Reached base the first 3 times with hits, ended up 3 for 4. Today he hasn't found his way on via the hit, but he has reached on an error, and he's been hit by a pitch. And now he bats against Martez with Goins on second, Pilar on first. Martez starts him off with a breaking ball that had him flinching. It's 0-1. Martez, the 4th pitcher of the game for the Astros, starting with Mike Fiers. He lasted 6 innings plus 3 batters. Luke Gregerson the rest of the 7th. Gudwan started this inning, and now Martez ahead 0-2 on Barney. Out of play, stays 1-2.
Good live arm at 96.
Blue Jays put a lot of pitches on Ramin Gudwan in 3 batters. Extended at bats by Kevin Pilar and Nori Aoki. Pilar ended up with a hit. Aoki ended up striking out. 1-2 pitch, and there is a fastball at 98. Swing and a miss. Barney goes down as Martez strikes out the first batter he faces.
Good to see him aggressive and pitching with a purpose. See Centeno right after that pitch pointing at him saying, nice work.
Oh, 2 outs, 2 on. The top of the order, Jose Bautista. Sure, and we've talked about this before, that Martez enjoys the big spotlight or the bigger moments. I'm sure there's a bat with Jose Bautista. A couple of guys that live in Santo Domingo in the Dominican. Probably has Martez attention. Fastball at 98. It's 1-1. 21-year-old Francis Martez facing the veteran Jose Bautista. And it's 2-1. Nasty pitch. Bautista went around. It's 2-2.
Kind of like the fact that before this pitch, Martez kind of took a walk around the back of the mound trying to regroup. Came back and made a good pitch on it. See if he can do it again.
Or see if he approaches triple digits with his fastball. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 97. He gets Bautista on the fastball to end the inning. Martez comes in and strikes out Barney and Bautista, and we head to the bottom half of the 8th. It's still 6-3.
Blue Jays leading the Astros. Time to name that Astro, presented by your local Honda dealer. These were your 3 clues. Let's check out some tweets to see how you did on Twitter. We've got a Morgan Ensberg, another Morgan Ensberg.
Smart fans.
Nice work to all those who tweeted in at ATT Sportsnet SW. Managing those Valley Cats, Vamos Gatos, down there. Over there? Up there?
Vamos Gatos?
Yeah, that's what their hashtag is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dallas Keuchel pitched for them.
That's cool.
Pitches in the dirt for a ball. It's 2-0. They're tough.
They are tough. Those clues are extremely tough.
Juan Centeno leads off the bottom half of the 8th inning. takes a pitch down low, 3-0.
It's just a case of us knowing too much up here.
And by we, you mean you.
Yeah.
Because
I was trying to incorporate you into that, but
I get about 1 out of every 15. You get about 12 or 13 out of every 15.
I always think it's funny when people recognize the silhouette before they need the clues to get the answers.
That helps too. I didn't even notice that until you told me that about June.
Yeah.
Look at the silhouette. That wasn't
I told you to look at it.
You did, and I finally did. But I didn't know that was part of the process, and it helps me sometimes. Centeno.
Clues everywhere.
Centeno with a 3-1 count. Now fouls went off. Juan's been on base twice today in his return back to the Astros. Last played for them back in May. That was when Brian McCann was on the 7-day concussion list. Now he's back with Evan Gattis on the 7-day concussion list. Gattis taking a swing to the helmet on Thursday's game. There's a ball towards Smoke, hit pretty well, but Centeno retired. He's now 1 for 3 in the game. 1 out in the 8th. I'll bring up Jake Marisnick. Boston won their game today against the team the Astros are about to play, the Chicago White Sox. Red Sox winning 6-3 at home. For a good stretch there in the American League, not only did the Astros have the big lead in the AL West, but they also had the big lead of double digits for the best record overall in the AL for that 1 seed. If they don't come from behind and win today, Boston will only be 7.5 games back for that number 1 seed. That was a no pitch. Time was called before Leon delivered at 56. So AJ's hoping his team figures out a way to come from behind down 3 and not lose for the 8th time in 11 games. Boston's been hot. They have won 6 in a row, and they have won 8 out of 11. Now back it's 1-2. One seed is important for not only home field advantage throughout the American League portion of the playoffs, but you also get to face a wild card team who in theory will be using one of their best pitchers in the wild card game prior to the series, as opposed to the other division winner who can set up their rotation if they don't have to go to the final day to win their division. 1-2 the count. Second wild card right now, just 4 games over 500. That's why teams like the Blue Jays feel like they're still around, 5 games back. Whole different story in the National League. Arizona and Colorado have been dominating the wild card picture in the NL. But everybody in the American League, with the exception of the A's and the White Sox, probably feels like they have a shot. Jake has doubled, scored a run in 3 at-bats. Count evens 2-2.
Back-to-back pitches, not even close. The Astros go 3-7 in their last 10, and they only lose 2.5 games in the standings.
In the West?
Yep.
The West has been everybody else just fighting to stay at that 500 plateau, it seems like.
It's pretty incredible.
Marisnick goes down swinging. Well, Leon's retired all 3 batters he has faced out of the bullpen. Ryan Tepera had been warming up, but Leon's got things under control for now. 2 outs, nobody on, and Derek Fisher the batter. The Astros will wrap up the season in Boston. It would be nice if both the division and the number 1 seed were wrapped up prior to that series. The Astros could pitch whoever they wanted in that final 3-game series at Fenway, assuming it wasn't a huge series for Boston. Obviously, A.J. Hinch would have to play it for the integrity of the game as hard as possible if the Red Sox are trying to win a division or get into the postseason. But if the Astros clinch it before that series, it would be a nice luxury to have. 1-1 to count to Derek Fisher. Fisher reaching base yet again. 16 out of 17 games. Infield single back in the 5th. Sliced into the crowd and a big bounce and battle for that foul ball. Who has it?
Somebody's going to win.
Yes.
Yeah, she did.
Just talking about
Boston.
the Red Sox.
Wow.
That was from the other section with the beer in hand.
It's all about desire, Todd.
1-2 the count. Astros out hitting the Jays 11-8, but trail at 6-3. And Fisher goes down swinging on the breaking ball from Leone. Dominic Leone, a nice job out of the Blue Jays bullpen. We are through 8 at 6-3. AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Never give up. That's what the fans hope for here. Into the 9th inning we go. Astros down 6-3. Winner of this game will win the season series. Astros and Blue Jays split a 4-game setup in Toronto right before the All-Star break. Astros winning game 1 of this series 16-7, losing last night 4-3, and down in this game 6-3. Russell Martin, Josh Donaldson, Justin Smoke, the first 3 hitters for the Blue Jays in the 9th. One team in this season series has scored 59 runs. The other team has scored 34 runs. And the team that scored 34 runs right now leads 6-3 and could win the season series.
Scoring numbers in bulk.
I don't know if I remember a season series being lost with a -25. A plus 25 run differential.
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often. It can't.
We're going to have to get Stats Inc. on that after today. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
I was going to say, that's kind of a dubious honor.
Hopefully we don't find out and the Astros come back down 3. But to end up right now plus 25 on the season series and potentially lose the season set is crazy to think about. 3-1 to count. Astros here at Minute Maid Park are 15-5 against the Baltimore Orioles. That's their best mark against a visiting team. They are 14-6 against the Blue Jays, and Martez has come back after being down 3-0 and a full count on Martin. Couple of arms loosening up for the Blue Jays in their pen, including their 22-year-old closer Roberto Osuna. He has been joined by Danny Barnes. Barnes will pitch if the Blue Jays score in this inning. Osuna will pitch if they don't. There are the right-handers that are warming up. Well, Jerry Dipoto, you mentioned last time we saw Seattle, he is the leading trader in the major leagues by a large margin the last 2 years. He has made another deal today.
Yonder Alonso, first baseman for the A's, heading a little bit further north into Seattle. Well, Jerry Dipoto's not afraid. You know, Kevin Towers had the nickname of Gunslinger as far as GMs are concerned, and he worked under KT when I was in Arizona. So I wonder if they might be trying to take that title away. It might be, instead of being the Gunslinger, it's going to be Quick Draw McGraw. I mean, he is not afraid.
If he goes a couple of weeks without a deal or a transaction, the ball off the glove of Centeno, and that'll allow the runner to go to second.
Well, we saw electric command from Martez in that last inning. He has not come out of that dugout with the same kind of command.
Dipoto also made a minor trade with Tampa Bay, acquiring reliever Ryan Garten. So a couple of moves made by the Mariners in their ever-changing roster. They're still trying to make a push despite Felix Hernandez going on the DL. That's going to hurt as he goes back on the DL again. 1-2 the count to Donaldson.
They're really benefiting from James Paxton turning it up a notch here recently.
I would say of the pitchers the Astros have seen this year, and they've had a few solid starts against them, but Paxton has been the best consistently.
I agree.
That's in the dirt. That ball hit Centeno, then hit Donaldson and stayed close. That last 90 feet was given to Centeno on a pass ball. Astros will have their 2, 3, 4 hitters due up if Martez keeps this thing close in a 3-run contest. Altuve, Reddick, Gurriel, and then Marwin, the first 4 due up. Donaldson pops it up in the air. Bregman makes the play. Ends up in fair territory, out number 1.
Astros have done a relatively good job of keeping Josh Donaldson in check. A double in that second game. He has been on base, but he hasn't done much damage.
I was thinking the same thing, just 1 hit in the series.
Scored a run today, didn't score in game 2, didn't score in game 3.
1 for 11 overall. Here's Smoke. Smoke made this a 6-3 game with a double off the wall in center field. Ball that Jake Marisnick looked like he was tracking for a while, went on a full sprint back towards the wall and just got a little twisted up. Was unable to make the play. Counts 1-1. 2 big hits in this game. The Smoke double, the Aoki 2-run home run. Astros did lead this game 3-2, but now trail at 6-3. That's popped in the air. Shallow left. And Fisher makes the play for the second out. Sign up your kids to be an Astros buddy. Only $25. Buddy members get an exclusive Astros backpack, socks, a cap, and ticket vouchers to an Astros home game. Visit astros.com/buddies to buy your membership now. 2 outs, a runner on second base. Martez will try and get Kendrys Morales. He and Centeno will have a little meeting at the mound before the at-bat.
Quite the conversation going on.
Artez faced 2 batters in the 8th, struck them both out. Walked the leadoff hitter Martin in this inning. A pass ball moved him to second. Then he retired Donaldson and Smoke, now facing Kendrys Morales. Intentional walk to Morales. And they would pitch to Ryan Goins instead. Goins 1 for 4. Opposite field single that came against Ramin Gudwan. Strike 1. To me, Martez is the most interesting piece to the bullpen puzzle because you're not sure how he will be used in the most critical of games down the stretch.
I'd say because his command issues sometimes can stress you out a little bit, but at the same time he can do what he just did here in the first 2 pitches and look wipe out effective, and he has the kind of stuff to finish people off.
Nice backhand play by Gurriel, who flips to Martez covering, and Francis able to get through the 9th. So we have a 3-run game with Altuve, Reddick, and Gurriel due up.
Miller Time brought to you by Miller Lite. Numbers aren't going to show it, but Mike Fiers actually pitched relatively decent tonight for this afternoon, going 6 innings. He only gave up 4 runs. He had an unearned run put up against him, totaling 5 against him. But as far as earned runs, only 4 earned runs, and 3 walks came back to haunt him. 6 punch outs, and again, for Mike Fiers, he does a good job limiting the hits. Gets a couple of walks, but a couple of big hits against him were those home runs.
So the Astros trying to rally against one of the game's better closers. Houston losing the last 3 games in this series against Tampa Bay, with Alex Colomé saving his 31st, 32nd, and 33rd saves. And the guy who's second in the AL is right there, Alberto Osuna.
Picked up his 28th save here against the Houston Astros. Throws hard. 95 on the fastball, changeup, cut fastball, slider. Some serious work ahead of the Astros here in the bottom of the 9th.
The thing that makes him so good is he just won't walk batters.
Does have 6 blown saves.
He did blow 2 consecutive games, including one in Chicago before this series. He starts out Altuve with a swing and a miss for a strike. Not a bad idea going up trying to ambush, because In general, Osuna gets ahead of a lot of counts.
Well, you said it. He throws a lot of strikes, doesn't walk a lot of guys, so you want to be aggressive on guys that are going to be around the zone.
Base hit up the middle. Altuve with his 21st three-hit game of the season. And he's the leadoff base runner in the ninth.
So you throw a slider and get a swing and miss on Jose Altuve. Obviously, he's trying to ambush the fastball, yet you come back with the fastball in the zone. I just feel like that's what Jose Altuve was looking for, and you gave him a little bit of a gift. And I'm very glad about it. Get things going against Osuna.
Altuve in this homestand with a couple of three-hit games. Here's Josh Reddick. He takes a pitch outside for a ball. Nobody in baseball has more three-hit games than Altuve. On the corner at the knee, says Rob Drake. Josh wasn't sure about that. It's 1-1.
Cut fastball, 89, 90 miles an hour.
Throws that cutter a little more to lefties than he does the slider. Two and two the count. Saw Reddick was 3 for 3 in his career against Osuna. It includes a couple of doubles. Astros trying to bring the tying run to the plate. Called third strike. Reddick didn't like the first or the last strike. And he is going to stay at home plate for an extra beat. Rob Drake calls him out on a pitch up and away.
There he goes. Rob Drake just threw him out. Josh is going to come out and try and get a little bit more, but AJ is going to get in front of him.
Fucking shit!
Josh Reddick ejected by the home plate umpire Rob Drake.
AJ's arguing, if you're going to throw a guy, throw him while he's out there. Don't wait until he gets in that dugout, because that usually means that the umpire is chasing the player into the dugout.
Third Astro ejected this year. Yuli Gurriel, Marwin Gonzalez, and now Josh Reddick.
Can't believe he ejected the heart and hustle guy.
Today he wins the award. Some tough pitches on the outside. Called strikes, and there's a base hit into left field. So the Astros have brought the tying run to home plate. And it happens to be the guy who has hit more big home runs this year than anybody else on the roster, Marwin Gonzalez.
He has really done a good job of putting together some great ABs, but you got to have some help in front of you. Altuve with a big base hit. Now Yuli Gurriel aggressive on that heater, turns on it. If these guys don't have good ABs and get on in front of Marwin Gonzalez, he's not going to be put in these situations, and he has come through a couple of times with some big hits for the Houston Astros.
Singled off the wall in his last at bat. Previous at bat to that, a sacrifice fly. And now he bats as the tying run in the bottom half of the ninth of a 6-3 game. Low ball one. Carlos Beltran with a 3-hit game waits on deck. Osuna. Between the middle of May and the middle of July, he had an ERA below 1. Since then, over the last 9 games, I mentioned a couple of blown saves, he has allowed an ERA above 6 in those last 9 contests. In the dirt, 2-1. Darwin in a hitter's count. Career high 20 home runs on the year, 16 as a left-hand hitter. Line drive, base hit to right field. Astros will have the bases loaded and 1 out in the 9th inning. 3 hits in the inning. Altuve, Gurriel, and Marwin.
Good things happen when you start to bunch together hits. Put pressure on the closer Osuna. Base runners put pressure on the defense and make plays behind your pitcher. Also brings up a guy who's been pretty good in bases loaded situations in his career in Carlos Beltran.
Been a little while since Beltran's hit a grand slam. August 8th, 2014, but that was the 11th of his career.
Gets the winning run to home plate.
Beltran has had 1 4-hit game this season. He has 3 hits today. Low, ball 1. Beltran and Brian McCann joining the Astros this year, both with 11 career grand slams. Up and in, 2-0.
248 batting average on the season for Carlos Beltran, 13 home runs. He really hasn't had that statement game yet for the Houston Astros. What an opportunity right here to make that statement.
He is 3 for 8 with the bases loaded.
He's trying to right there.
Altuve on 3rd. Gurriel on 2nd. Marwin Gonzalez on 1st. Marwin represents a tie game. Beltran the winning run at home plate. Ground ball towards first. Smoke will make the play to 2nd. They get Gonzalez there. Altuve scores. It's now a 6-4 game. Beltran grounds into a fielder's choice. Well, the streak's on the line and the game's on the line. Alex Bregman, 7-game streak of extra base hits. He is 0 for 3 today with a walk. In the air to left center field, well hit. That ball's down into the wall. Beltran around 2nd, heading to 3rd. He is being waved home. The relay throw is not in time. Tie game. Triple for Bregman. We're tied at 6.
Big swing from Alex Bregman. Talking about those extra base hits. They've been coming in bulk here lately, keeping that streak going of driving through the gap. Big hit, 2-out lightning for the Houston Astros. Carlos Beltran didn't have a chance to make a statement with the bat, but he did with his legs, scoring all the way from first.
Juan Centeno now with a chance to win it. Swings through that first pitch. Bregman now with an extra base hit in 8 consecutive games, and by far the biggest one of the homestand. He now has 9 RBIs in this 7-game homestand. Centeno down to the count 0-2. Centeno 1 for 3 today, 4 for 10, 3 starts as an Astro. Who has been struggling now in his last 10 games, gives up a 3 spot in the bottom half of the 9th inning. And Giles has been worming in the Astros bullpen if this game goes on to the 10th. By Martin, that's a lot of faith in your catcher to throw a slider down there with the winning run on third base. Line drive, base hit, right field. The Astros walk it off. Juan Centeno wins the game after Alex Bregman ties it with a triple.
Well done, boys. Well done. Team effort tonight. Don't give up in these Astros.
Down to the final out, down 2. Alex Bregman triples into the gap in left center field. And then Juan Centeno, in his 3rd game as a member of the Houston Astros, wins it with a single to right over the leaping Justin Smoke's glove. And the Astros come back with a 4th spot in the bottom half of the 9th.
Tried to come in, elevated fastball. He knew he got it good. Could he get it over Smoke's head? And he does, and you see the pure joy. Good for Juan Centeno. That is awesome. Bregman with a huge 2-out hit, backed up by Centeno with an even bigger hit.
What a finish to what had been a disappointing homestand to this point. The Astros win the series, win the season series against Toronto, and score 4 in the bottom half of the 9th inning, the last 3 coming with 2 outs. Julia, take it away.
Hey, thanks with one who's getting hit by Powerade. I guess they're trying to hydrate you after your big game-winning hit right there. But for you to contribute, I know you just came up here. It's your 3rd game with the Astros. What is it? All right, you're supposed to warn me. So cold. That's cold, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean for you to be able to contribute, though, today for the club?
Hey, amazing. You know, man, I don't know what to say. You know, excited. You know, trying to get a good pitch to hit. I got it. You know, great teamwork. You know, like all the guys, we never give up. Keep playing hard to the 9th, 27 out, and hey, we end up winning.
You've got to tell me what it was like when Alex Bregman hit the triple and you're trying to get yourself together for that big at bat. Crowd's going nuts. Obviously, the team's getting very excited that you guys tied it up. What are you thinking right there?
You know, I just, try to calm down. You know, the situation, get a good pitch to hit. I got it. I'm glad I got a hit. Awesome.
You got it. Just for you to be able to come out, though, I mean, it's got to be a great feeling. Every time that you've stepped on this field with an Astros uniform, you've helped in some way.
Man, I love the game. I always play hard, so every time I'm in the line, I'm gonna give my 100%.
What about catching fires today? I want to ask you just behind the plate what you saw from him.
You know, great command. You know, a couple mistakes, but hey, he went through 6 innings, and hey, that's what we got. That's what we won.
Next time, warn me when the ice baths are coming on, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks and congrats. All right, guys.
All right, Julia, thank you very much. Julia taking a couple of big
And hazard pay.
ice baths tonight. Not one, but twice.
She's got to get on a plane.
Hopefully we'll get her dried off and ready for the flight, which will now be a happy flight to Chicago. Alex Bregman, the big game-tying triple blummer, then Juan Centeno wins it.
It was beautiful, good team baseball. Runners getting on. We told you good things happen when they string these hits together. They were 6 for 14 with runners in scoring position.
7-6 final. Back with more, including the post-game show right around the corner.